You know, with all due respect to Summer McIntosh and Alex Baumann for winning multiple golds in the Olympics, the guy for Canada who did it first is still considered by many to be the greatest swimmer in Canadian history, even though a lot of people couldn't remember his name. It was given to him in the back of a Kellogg's box in French. So today we're talking about the freestyle king of his era, George Hodgson. Now, George Ritchie Hodgson, born October 12, 1893, was a Canadian swimmer from Montreal. A top producer of medals of the early 20th century, and again considered by many to be the greatest freestyler, if not swimmer, in Canadian history. Hodgson won the two longer freestyle swimming gold medals at the 1912 Olympics, the only categories in which he competed. He also took part in the 1920 Summer Olympics. Now, George was born in Montreal, matriculated at McGill University in 1912, competing in swimming and water polo for the school. While there, he was admitted to the Zeta Psi fraternity and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Applied Science in 1916. Inducted in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame in 1955, he got entry in the International Swimming Hall of Fame in 1968, into the McGill University Sports Hall of Fame in 1996. Unfortunately, this would happen 13 years after he's passed in Montreal in 1983. Now, several members of George's extended family were also involved in Canadian sports. His uncles Billy and Archie Hodgson were prominent athletes with the Montreal Amateur Athletic Association in the 1880s and 1890s, playing both ice hockey and lacrosse with the organization. Archie Hodgson was part of the first Stanley Cup winning team in 1893, the same year George was born. Now, George was Canada's only Olympic gold medal winner in swimming until 1984, but did not stay in competition very long. He won these two gold medals in Stockholm with times of 5:24.43 seconds in a 400 meter and 22 minutes flat in a 1500 meter freestyle. He had already set a world record of 22:23 in the first round of the race. He was 18 at the time and retired immediately after one of the greatest races of all time. His unprecedented success was widely attributed to the innovation of the truncheon stroke, a hybrid between the front crawl and side stroke. It was for the 1500 meter Olympic Championship that Hodgson broke World Olympic records for 1,000 yards and meters and 1 mile in addition to prescribed 1500 meter race distance. His Olympic record of 400 meters stood until 24, when of all people, Johnny Weissmuller broke it at Amsterdam. He was Canada's lone swimmer in 1912. Now, during World War I, Hodgson was a decorated pilot in the Royal Naval Air Service, or the RNAS. He was appointed probationer flight sub-lieutenant at Ottawa in January 1816 and was stationed at Shingford, then Felixstowe from June 16, where he carried out anti-submarine patrols, flying Flexstowe F-2A flying boats. He was eventually promoted to flight lieutenant on June 30, 1917. On June 1st, 1918, he was posted to Southeast area, and then from August 1818 was pilot of Porty Bay 9810, a large flying boat at Lerwick, Shetland, while serving at Houghton Seaplane Station, Orkney. On October 2nd, 1918, he was posted to the number 210 training depot station and to Shorncliffe on January 10th, 1919. He moved to the unemployed list on January 22nd, 1919. Now, during the war, the Olympic champion received a number of decorations. Border Trade Silver Medal for gallantry in saving life at sea, awarded on the recommendation of the President of the Board of Trade, announced in their airplane 27 March 1918, with Flight Lieutenant James Leslie Gordon, leading mechanic Sidney Francis Anderson, and wireless telegraphist Bertram Harley Millichamp, in recognition of her services in rescuing two men for an upturned float in the North Sea on May 29th last. Award effective 29th May 1917, presented at Buckingham Palace, September 4th, 1918. Mentioned in his dispatches, London Gazette, October 1st, 1917, as Flight Lieutenant George Ritchie Hodgson, RNAS, for patrol duties in home waters. He also won the Air Force Cross on November 2nd, 1918. Now, Olympic records: 1912 gold, 400 meter freestyle, 1912 gold, 1500 meter freestyle. He had the fastest freestyle mile in 1911 Festival of Empire Games, which is now the Commonwealth Games. Now, talking about the world record progression for the 1500 meter freestyle, George's record held for about 11 years until Arnie Borg broke it in Gothenburg on July 8, 1923. Now, George took 48 seconds off the long course record from one Henry Taylor of Great Britain. So there's no really comparison in modern time to, but put it this way, Bobby Finke won the category with a time of 14 minutes 30 seconds, 0.67. So George would be eight minutes behind, but that doesn't take away his talent. And again, we tend to forget, like, everybody was excited at Summer McIntosh and Alex Baumann and stuff like that. But again, I grew up knowing that he was the greatest freestyler probably of the early 20th century. And like I said, when he died, he was almost 90, and he was a trivia question upon trivia question. It's kind of ironic he died a year before the LA Games, and the first thing basically what Alex Baumann won, they were trying to track him down, and I guess the local media in Montreal basically said, well, you should have talked to him last year when he was alive, because there was a talk that Victor Davis and Alex Baumann were going to win at least 2 gold at the LA Games. And God bless his soul, Victor Davis died later on. Victor came very close, but Alex Baumann, but he wasn't a long course. He is the greatest long course swimmer in Canadian history. We're not known for that, the Aussies and the Brits and stuff. But George Hodgson, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. And I know Hodgson's in New Brunswick, the family. And everybody in the Hodgson family I know in New Brunswick knows how good George was. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our Olympic podcast, especially on some of the history of our great performers, let us know what a like, comment, subscribe, or share.